Kings and queens, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic night. Let's go ahead and jump on into this video. I'm gonna go straight into it. So apparently there's been a quote-unquote leak that's been going around. I didn't think much of it because when I read it, to me it was blatantly obvious that most of this stuff is probably fake. But I just keep getting tweets about it, and too many people are messaging me on Discord, and I think there's even a couple videos circulating talking about everything. So I wanted to tell you guys about the information and then tell you what I thought about it. And obviously, as I said, I'm pretty sure that most of this is fake. So let's go ahead and start off with this. So there's quite a lot of things that this person goes ahead and talks about in this anonymous post. I'm going to start with the tail end of things because when I read this part, it made it a little bit more clear to me that this is probably fake. So let's talk about it. They said that Behavior usually gives their Fog Whispers early access to DLC content and scripts they can loosely follow for live reveals. I'm going to break this down into even more smaller sections for you. So first of all, as a Fog Whisperer myself, from my point of view, I know that this is 100% not true, at least for me. I have no access whatsoever to early DLC content, and there is 100% no scripts that are given to us about live reveals. We know absolutely nothing. Again, I can't speak for everybody. When I say we, it's just the Fog Whispers that I'm close to and, you know, what they're telling me. But I've never once had any early DLC content that I was able to play, unless it was something like a trailer that we revealed to you guys early. Besides that, nothing. Also, scripts. We've never received scripts whatsoever. I've never had a script that I had to read, and there's never any loose following terms. I can basically say anything I want. If I went ahead and played the night when he just came out, I could just say he's absolutely shit. I don't like the character. I don't like the map. There's nothing that forbids me from saying. They then carried on to say they also demand them to look excited about reveals and forbids them for talking about certain topics. They then try to give an example saying, you've probably heard about how they don't want you to call the twins of baby. Lots of conditions like this exist, including one forbidding talking about how the game loads every single perk, power, add-on, and status effect into every match. Okay, so let's break this down even more. We are not demanded to look excited about these things whatsoever. From my perspective, I obviously, make YouTube videos for you guys, keeping it 100% transparent. That's just how YouTube is. If you're excited about stuff, you're making a video, that's YouTube. You talk about these things, and I'm not always excited about things. You guys heard videos where I've just woken up, or maybe I'm not in the mood, things like that, and my energy is really low. And you've seen the frustrations if you watch any of these streamers, what goes through with all of these DLCs as well. You're not always meant to be excited. This isn't something that's required. And if that was the case, I would never be a Fog Whisperer. I would leave the program. They then went ahead and said that we're not allowed to talk about certain topics. 1,000,000% this is a lie. Every Fog Whisperer can talk about anything that they want. You're not forbidden from talking about anything. This is not real. This isn't in any contracts or anything like that. I'm not going to go personally and go say, screw the devs because I don't like them. If it's something personal, I'm not going to put it online. There's no point in doing that. I'm not going to go ahead and just bash the devs and give them hate because, something is in the game that I don't like. At the end of the day, these are people, and I think people forget that. They really forget that there's other people working on this game, taking their time and trying to work on something for the rest of the community. And all the time, everyone's not going to be happy about that. So I'm not going to go ahead and be like, fuck this dev or fuck this person or make memes about someone, because everyone's a person at the end of the day. If they don't make a good change, I'll say this isn't a good change, but I'm not going to go to the extent where I'm throwing insults or taking it to that next level that it really doesn't need to go to. They then gave the example that you're not allowed to call the twins as a baby. This was just a heads up to everybody that did happen. And it wasn't because Behavior was like, we don't want you calling this. It was literally trying to protect their streamers. If you go on Twitch and you're inciting harm to an infant, you're more than likely to get banned. And especially with some of the bigger streamers that have a larger audience, if Twitch looks into it and sees that you're basically trying to quote unquote kick a baby, it's not going to go over well. And that could maybe lead into a ban, a 1, 2, 3, maybe even permanent ban. So all that was trying to protect the streamer. You can still technically say that, but it is against Twitch's TOS. So if you're saying that, even on YouTube, you could potentially get demonetized. It's not something that you want to do. And this was them basically saying, hey, this is a heads up, do what you want. But if you do it, you could be at risk of getting a ban or something like that. So it seems like this person is trying to spin that in a negative light, saying that behavior forces us not to say certain things when they're just looking out for us in this specific case, and there hasn't been anything else to my knowledge and in my perspective that they told us not to do. As for the last part of every single perk, power, add-on, and SAS effect loads into every match, I don't even know if that's true or not, so it is what it is. They then proceed that saying that yes, that means Poly and Odds aren't as genuine as they look. And I know firsthand that Poly and Odds are both very genuine, down-to-earth people. I've known Poly for literally before he was even a Fog Whisperer to now, and I can tell you from firsthand experience that that is just complete and utter bullshit. The same with Odds. While, you know, we've been in calls, you know, recording for our Jeopardy videos or just off, you know, whatever the case would be, we played games from time to time offline. Odds is the same person on screen and off screen. So again, complete BS. They then went ahead and said that Behavior doesn't want to invest too much money into anti-cheats because the money alts give it too much to reuse. This again is one of those things that I'm just like question mark, question mark, question mark. We've actively seen Behavior working on anti-cheats. Obviously, it's taken a horrendously long time, and you even seen your Fog Whisperers complaining about that, which is again completely refuting the point they made earlier, saying that Fog Whisperers can't say things like this, but you've seen your Fog Whisperers literally beg for them to make better anti-cheat. If this was, you know, because of money, I don't know what took them so long. Obviously, they did eventually get it out. They are actively working on it. But then there's a whole counter argument that only the Epic Games and free-to-play stuff was the reason why we had so much hackers in the first place. So which one really is it? And if this person knew enough, you would know that if you are going in and hacking, you don't need to rebuy the game to make an alt account and to get everything going. If you're using that software, you could just make an account. You don't need to buy the game. Boom, you're in there with hacks. So that is also not true. They then went ahead and said that leaks caused us to return to Stranger Things and turn the For Honor chapter into the Forged in Fog chapter. Leaks like these make us look bad for future partners too. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, leaks are terrible. I'm sure it doesn't help on any sides, especially looking for other companies. That could be true, but the night was always going to be the night. And we know that the night was going to be a night because there was a leaker a very long time ago that leaked 3 potential chapters are coming out, that being the Dredge, Wesker, and the Night. And that chapter was always basically set in stone once that person got the Dredge correct. So that isn't true. Leaks costing us a Stranger Things return. As I said in my last video, I don't think that was even going to happen. So again, whatever. Now let's get on to the other part of this. So again, that was all the tail end of it, which I was like, BS, 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 BS. They then went ahead and basically gave their life story in the beginning, saying that they've been working at Behavior. Things have been going downhill. They had to crunch a lot of things because, you know, things were getting leaked a bunch of times, blah, blah, blah. And then they said they're starting to drop a bunch of we're hiring posts every single month because people just couldn't handle it and they had to leave, essentially. Now, I can't tell you anything about this. Maybe this is true. I don't know. But one thing that I can pick out of this entire crunch period that they're talking about, where they have to like basically, you know, rush a whole chapter and try to make up for leaks, things like that. That is something that I know doesn't happen. From speaking to devs firsthand in person, that stuff like that has never happened. From everyone that I've spoken to at Behavior personally, they've said that Behavior is one of the best places that they've worked at, and that's one of the reasons that they want to stay within the company and not go anywhere else, because other companies have this crunch time and they left companies that do have this crunch time. So I know from what they've told me that that part isn't true. Now, again, I can't speak for this person if they are real and they are telling the truth, and this is something that happens to them. Maybe they had their own quote-unquote crunch period, but from what I've heard and what I know, that isn't true. So again, I'm not completely discrediting what they're saying, but just from my perspective, I don't think that it's correct. But let's carry on to the next point that they're saying. They then went ahead and basically said what they believe was coming out, and I guess this is more a wait and kind of see thing, but again, considering that most of the stuff I personally don't believe, I'm gonna take this with a whole gallon of salt because it probably won't be true. They basically said that what's coming up is eruption meta changes. We're also going to see status effects for the survivors and the finisher Mori, and that's meant to come with extra perks that are going to shake up the meta. Anybody could have told you this. We know that Eruption is a perk that's way overused, so yes, that's probably going to be getting a change. We know firsthand that the Survivor HUD is coming in, and the Finisher Mori is something we've already tested, so it's probably still going to come in. Not to mention perks being changed and shaking up the meta, that happens all the time, so this could just be them using their context clues and trying to get a well-educated guess, which on paper makes sense. They then said that these features might be pushed back and forward, but this was planned before the anniversary. Again, this is just covering their own tail. The juicy information comes when they said that the Alien chapter is going to be coming out in the middle of April as the anniversary, and we're going to get 2 survivors, Ellen and Dwayne. The map is going to be based around the second movie, but plenty of liberties were taken with it. They also said that we're going to get more legendary skins, etc. Alien will be a stealth killer that replaces Hooks with its own unique sacrifice system, and they said that they were going to get voice lines. Is this right? I don't know. Again, there's nothing in here that I can necessarily nitpick, but considering that I think that everything else is a load of shit, then this is probably going to be incorrect as well. Although, it could be a really lucky guess, and we could get Alien coming in, and then this person might look like a genius, but we'll continue. They then said that this is going to potentially greenlight a chapter for a Predator chapter coming into the game for the following year. From what I know, chapters are worked on so far in advance. You know, the devs are currently working on multiple chapters right now as we speak. They don't just look at the next chapter and they're like, all right, let's all work on this chapter, then we'll move on to the next. They work on 3, 4, 5 different chapters simultaneously. This happens actively. So what they're saying, if this was true, Predator coming into the game, if this was like a green light thing, wouldn't happen the following year. It would happen probably even past that, you know? So again, I don't really find that too feasible. Let's carry on. They then said that a Dead Space update is in development. Again, this is based on nothing. You know, Freddy's franchise owner has been contacted for a chapter. Nothing has come out of it yet. Another typo in there. They then said that plans for a Jason chapter is in motion. At the moment, they got one of the 2 license holders to work with us. Again, just public information with the lawsuit. And they said that the Letter Space DLC was meant to be removed sometime after the game comes out, but thanks to the leaking early, the license holders saw the boycott and decided to let it stay for the moment. Things might change. Again, I don't really know what happened with all that Letterface stuff. I don't think that it was even being planned to being removed, and, you know, people are just saying that those code names are just in the files. I don't know the ins and outs of that. So again, I can't really debunk anything there. They then went on the bottom and said that they plan to talk about new stuff and exploring new things such as the spider monsters and Vlad, which again, educated guess, it could be more survivor objectives could be introduced within the next 2 years. Such a big time frame, like you don't know what could happen in the next 2 years, and they're saying that it could be inspired from Among Us. And then they finally wrapped up with saying that another change to the blood web system will be made, and they said that this will be shared soon, yada yada yada. Again, this is stuff that the community has been asking and wanting for, so it seems like all of this stuff comes from someone that's close in the community, or if they are quote-unquote the behavior employee, and they just hear what people are saying, and they decided to copy-paste everything, and they're like, yeah, this is what's going on. Again, for their personal experience and their story, I can't fully debunk it. I can only tell you what I know from my perspective. From all of this anniversary stuff and whatever development they say it's going on, I think most of it is just an educated guess. As for Alien, I guess we wait and see, and, you know, maybe if this is true and they're right, then whoop-de-doo. And then for the tail end for everything, it is just complete and utter bullshit. And I thought people would just see right through this, but I keep getting, as I said, messages about this, so I wanted to let you guys know. Longer video than I expected. I thought I was just going to be in and out with this, but that is pretty much everything that was covered with this. And yeah, that is going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy. Have a great, fantastic night. Not everything on the internet is true, guys. Take everything with a grain of salt and make sure you're really looking into sources and all of that stuff. So yeah, that was my 2 cents. I hope you guys did enjoy. As always, I'm the King. It's my crown to you guys, and we'll see you in the fog.